I didn't get a lucky break with New Girl. So I'm flying to this audition, going from North Hollywood to Santa Monica. And I get there and I'm sweating because I'm like parked far away and I'm running. Casting director asks me, she said, "Hey, did you read the material?" I said, "I did not read it at all." And then I got there and right behind the camera, there was a big board with the lines on it. Oh, perfect. And they're talking to me and I'm like, yeah, uh-huh. I'm like, say your name. I'm like, yeah, Lamorne Morris. And I forgot it all. And they said action and I just started making stuff up. I started using my instincts and using the tools that I actually had as opposed to trying to become what I think that they wanted me to be. Once I started doing that, I had negative $11 in my bank account when I went to that audition. And by the end of the week, I had booked like 4 or 5 national commercials that week.
National commercials are great. Yeah.
I mean, they're like, a lot of them were like 6 figures each commercial. And because of one of those commercials, Seth Yankowitz, the casting director for New Girl, saw it and thought that he had seen every actor in town for the role of Coach. And then he saw the commercial. He's like, "Who's that guy?"
Today, we're joined by Emmy Award-winning actor Lamorne Morris, an artist who has built a career proving there's almost nothing he can't do. The face of national commercial campaigns that led to the lovable Winston on the global hit TV show New Girl. From comedy to his Emmy-winning performance in Fargo, followed by the upcoming Spider Noir Jumanji and the new voice of everyone's favorite lasagna-loving cat, Garfield. Lamorne Morris has mastered reinvention and continues to prove that the most successful careers don't have cheat codes. This is The Exit Interview. This episode is brought to you by Next Health Calabasas, where proactive wellness starts with understanding your body.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Exit Interview. We are super excited today because we are joined by Emmy Award-winning actor Lamorne Morris, and there's just kind of like nothing he can't do.
Roller skate. I can't roller skate. I can't roller skate.
We're going to find something. We're going to keep talking until we find something you can't do. But welcome, Lamorne, to The Exit Interview.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
We're going to take it back to Chicago, to Chi-Town.
Okay.
And we'd love to just sort of tell us how you kind of came to enter the entertainment industry.
Wow. I mean, it kind of goes. I mean, there's the on the surface way of doing it, like auditioning and But then even deeper than that, I was always a clown. Growing up, I was always a bit of a. I didn't have a great relationship with my father, but one thing I do remember about him when I was younger. I remember walking down the street with my dad and my brother, and I kept like bothering my brother, kept flicking his ear. He started complaining. He's like, "Lamorne keeps hitting me." He said, "It's okay. He's the clown in the family." And then that always stuck with me. And I was like, "Oh, I get to be annoying. I get to be silly." And growing up, in the church, they would have these church plays, and I never did them. Sister Johnson, I remember once.
Every church has got to have a sister.
You got to have a Sister Johnson. This Sister Johnson was very encouraging. She saw it in me, and she wanted me to be a part of it. After I did it, I was addicted. I was like doing impressions of the preacher. Entire church was laughing hysterically. That feeling was unmatched. And and everyone kept saying, you should go into acting. You should do movies and you should do TV. And at the time I was 11, 12. I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, cool. Cut to high school. I get cut from the basketball team. So I don't have the same schedule that I used to have. It was basketball. And once that went away, I joined a theater class just to see what that was like. Because again, I remembered being silly. And that was it. That was the last time I looked back.
And was it okay for you to be in the theater group in high school?
I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Then end of 8th grade, we moved to the burbs. There were like 5 black kids in our school.
Right.
And just if you're black in a all white school, you're automatically cool. So no matter what I did, they were like, "That's cool."
They were like, "That's
That's
amazing."
cool.
So even though I was wearing tights and dancing around on stage with makeup on my face, they were like, "That's somehow cool." Like, I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And so I got a pass for sure. It also helped that my brother was on the football team and wrestling team.
Right.
So no
He
one-
kind of grandfathered you in.
Yeah, it was just like
Right.
my little brother was cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
And so yeah, and it became my addiction. You know what I mean? All my friends, I'm still close with a lot of those people today that I did theater with and choir with, and I was the president of men's choir. And
Come on, president of men's
I
choir.
had to do it. Can't not do it. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I just kept pushing forward. I would get sent to detention a lot in high school just because I was goofing off so much, and I was just bored. And so the
I'm
lady,
sure your mother was thrilled about that.
well, yes and no, to be quite honest with you, because she does encourage, being bold and being, yourself. And she also wants some structure and some, but, but at the same time, I never gave her any trouble. Detention was one thing, but I never gave her like real trouble. I was never in trouble with the law or anything like that. So, but the lady in detention gave me a pamphlet to Second City, Chicago, which is the premier comedy school in the world, in my opinion. And I went there and again hit the ground running.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just for me in Chicago, it was a step-by-step basis. One thing has to lead to another.
Right.
There were never any skipped steps. And I think nowadays a lot of folks, they just want the cheat code.
Yeah.
How do I just get to that? And so
right.
they try all these things, we'll do a reality show and then maybe I'll just get famous and then I'll just do this. For me, it was just what it was following my passion, the things that made me happy, which is like basketball makes me happy. I still play it, but I'm not as active. You know what I mean? It's like whatever makes me happy, let's try that. And with acting, it never not makes me happy.
Right.
It's all, And so after Second City, it was theater in Chicago. I got a job while I was at Second City. I got a job hosting for BET, and it was 2005, I want to say. It's called the New Faces Search. They did this thing for looking for new talent, and I got the job. I had to move to New York, and hosting at the time wasn't really my thing, but it was definitely something that I had been asked to do,
Right.
and use my muscle of humor to inject that into the hosting, whatever it was that I was hosting. And I got asked to host a video game and gadget show, which on the surface can be a bit boring, especially if you're not into tech.
Right.
But they wanted me to kind of, flavor
Jazz
it up a little
right?
bit. You know what I mean? And so
Bring some personality to it.
exactly. And that was my first taste at like being truly creative. Because before, you write some jokes and stuff here and there, but this one was like, okay, we have millions of people are watching. You're at a convention with the president of Nintendo. This is going to be boring. How do you make this not boring?
Right.
And so I had to like really get in there and figure out creative ways to make the show pop. And it worked. And then, I just kind of got, again, I was bored. I wasn't acting. I needed to be acting. And I left New York and came here. For the first 2 years, it was rough. Very rough. Like in and out of my car rough, finding roommates randomly to just help me pay some bills, but in that time I did meet a lot of cool people, most of which are still, my friends today. And we kind of went through this journey together of us getting TV jobs, us getting, booking auditions, commercials, us, writing stuff together. And it became a cool little tribe of folks that all struggled together.
What kept you going?
Yeah.
Friends, and honestly, I have a ton of faith that God is going to give you the things that you work for and that you truly want, and truly need. And so I never lost that faith. I never lost that sight of like, because I genuinely believe I'm really good at what I do. And and at the time I felt it as well. It hadn't been recognized yet to the degree that I wanted it to be, but I felt very confident. And I was surrounded by talented people. I remember a friend, Stacy Barth, who's dope songwriter. She would have these little, and at the time we lived in the same apartment complex. And she knew I was going through all the like financial struggles and stuff. So she would always go, hey, I'm gonna throw like a potluck.
Mm-hmm.
She would throw these parties like 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Rent parties.
just basically
Mhm.
like, well, what it was she's just helping me eat. That's all it was, because I didn't have money to eat. So she
Right.
was making sure I was eating, basically.
Wow.
And so she would throw, and she wasn't just doing it for me. It was a lot of couch surfers at her house.
Right.
I mean, some of the people now, like you know who they are. Like you've seen these musicians that are like the people that she was around that didn't have anything are now like Grammy Award winners, you know, I mean, platinum artists that you'd be on one couch, he'd be on another couch. And you're just like, this is it. And so she would throw these like things where she would go, I'm going to make this, I'm going to make that, I'm going to make that. Somebody bring a bottle of this, somebody bring a bottle of that. And then we'll just have like a big thing. And we'll all be, I mean, it happened so often. And that was the kind of stuff that kept me going.
Right.
And you see how talented they are, especially with musicians. With musicians, they just sing. And you go, oh, that's a skilled individual. They haven't made it yet, but you can see how well versed they are in their craft.
In their craft.
It's hard to explain, but you're looking at excellence in a room, untapped talent.
Right.
That's right there in front of you. And who knew? I didn't know Hit Boy was going to be all-time great producer. Frank Ocean kicking it over there. You're all these people. I'm like, damn, this is wild. At the time, had no idea who they were.
Right.
Had no idea who I was. But now when I see them out, it's like it's a really cool thing. You know what I mean? Like, we made it. We survived. We survived.
Yeah.
And I got lucky. I did get a lucky break with New Girl. Right before that, I started doing a lot of commercials. And the only reason why that happened, I mean, I was auditioning, but I wasn't booking. Car got repoed. So a friend let me borrow a car. She was late to getting me the car. So I'm flying to this audition, going from North Hollywood to Santa Monica. And I get there and I'm sweating because I'm like parked far away and I'm running. The casting director asks me, she said, hey, did you read the material? I said, yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
I ain't read that shit. I did not read it at all. And then I got there and right behind the camera, there was a big board with the lines on it. I was like, oh, perfect. And they're talking to me and I'm like, yeah. Like, say your name. I'm like, yeah, Lamorne Morris. And I forgot it all. And they said action and I just started making stuff up. And which goes back to Second City,
Right.
like improv school.
Yeah.
I started using my instincts and using the tools that I actually had as opposed to trying to become what I think that they wanted me to be. Once I started doing that, I had negative $11 in my bank account when I went to that audition.
Yeah.
And by the end of the week, I'd booked like 4 or 5 national commercials that week.
Wow.
10 casting director called me in 3 times.
Wow.
One of them was a straight offer. She
Nice.
was just like, we're behind. We don't have time for a session. I'm just going to give you the part. And that commercial flew me to Budapest.
Yeah, man.
Big Microsoft campaign. I was like, this is
National commercials are great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, a lot of them were like 6 figures each commercial.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you imagine going from negative $11 in your bank account?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. And because of one of those commercials, Seth Yankowitz, the casting director for New Girl, saw it and thought that he had seen every actor in town for the role of Coach initially. And then he saw the commercial. He goes, who's that guy? They found out who I was. They called me in. And then the rest is history,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
It's interesting because from hearing the whole story, what it sounds like is for you being comedic brings out a level of endearment, people watching you. I think comedy it gives an emotional response to people.
Yeah.
It's happiness, obviously, it's humor, but I think it's the people watching find like you endearing.
Yeah.
And that's sort of that like it factor, if you would, when people talk about it. And it sounds like you being able to take your skill set from when you were in Chicago to be able to apply that here.
Yeah, I think so. There are a lot of roles that I get where I get offered and it's not that I'll question the why. But I am inquisitive as to why. And I always ask a director, what made you think of me for this? Fargo, Noah Hawley once said to me, I asked him, I said, what made you consider me for this? And he said, well, we know you're funny and I've seen you do it. I've, on multiple things, but whether you want to go broad with this, whether you want to go big, whether you want to go very low, understated, that's your choice. He goes, we just needed this character to be kind. And he's like, everybody knows that you just come off as a kind person on camera. And it's weird. It's like, even when I'm trying not to be, people were like, no, we don't believe him. We got them kind eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why my daughter doesn't respect me. I'm trying to be serious with her like this. And she's just like, yeah, right, Dad. So yeah, I guess, I mean, that I do believe that to be a good quality to have, especially with going forward, like some of the roles that I want to do, having a child, you know what I mean? I do want to keep things rooted and grounded in kindness and in, a very family oriented structure. If I could, don't get me wrong. I love doing wild stuff. I love doing crazy movies and extreme characters. But when you can't take your kid, you can't take your kid to go see your movie. It's a little strange,
right?
You know what I mean? So I definitely want to do more of that. Like I want her to be able to see me more in my element. Like I bring her to work with me, but she doesn't understand the what's happening.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? Until it comes on.
Right. And then she's like,
Netflix.
oh, like she's like connecting the dots.
Like I can't wait till Jumanji comes out.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna lose her mind.
Oh my gosh. I took her to set. She was hanging out with the actors.
Oh my God.
She was the life of the party. And I gave her a tour we were driving around a golf cart, taking her around to like different stages. And, she's seeing the posters of all these things some of the animated films that she's seen. And so when Jumanji comes out, I am curious to see if she can connect some of the dots.
Really connect
it. Yeah. Next Health takes a proactive approach to wellness through advanced biomarker testing, giving you a clear look at what's actually happening inside your body. From there, their medical team builds a personalized treatment plan to help you feel and perform your best. If you want to take control of your health, use code EXIT for your baseline biomarker test and consultation, an $850 value for just $250 exclusively for our listeners. Visit Next Health Calabasas and start your wellness journey today.
Well, listen, whoever you want to meet, just bring your daughter. You know what I mean? Bring your daughter or your mom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my mom. Oh, my gosh. I took my mom to the Emmys.
Yeah.
Oh, forget it. It's a wrap.
In her dress. So we sat like one row behind John Hamm.
Oh, yes.
And, Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. And my mom was super excited. Now, John Hamm, I know him, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But my mom she met him briefly when we sat down. She just said hello. She gets up and we're talking, and the back of her dress had snagged on something on the seat or something, but it just popped the button a little bit. And so John saw it. It was he's like, do you mind? My mom goes like this. My mom slightly bends over and looks at me and goes,
listen, same.
Yeah.
We understand, Mom.
Yes.
And then John,
she was like, John, could you just, if you wouldn't mind, John, could you just fix my button for me, babe?
That's what she was doing.
Absolutely.
And you know what this asshole did?
Fixed her button.
And looked at me and was like this.
He knows what it is. John Hamm knows who he is.
John Hamm.
I love that so much.
He just looks at me like, I know you haven't seen your dad in a while. If you're looking for a replacement. Oh my God.
Listen, he came to give your mother the full experience. She came to the Emmys.
She had fun
to get the full Emmy experience.
She walked away with a trophy and had her ass grazed by John Hamm.
That's right.
Period.
After the Emmys, everybody has these parties they want to go to. And my mom was like, she was like, I'm tired. I'm going to go home. And I was like, cool. Because we got my boys all showed up.
Right. You're ready to do the real party now.
Yeah. I was like, let's go,
Right.
And I had the Emmy with me and she was like, don't lug that around with you. I'll just take it home. And I was about to give it to her. And then I thought, oh no, this is going to get me into all the parties.
No, right.
And it worked.
Absolutely.
I was in every party I was not invited to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, are we good?
Yeah.
Are we all good? Me and the whole Wu-Tang clan. Yeah. I brought everybody at those parties.
That's hilarious. That video of you, your reaction to like getting nominated.
Oh, and my daughter.
Oh my God, your daughter. But your cry was so like, it was like I was crying. It was so authentic and so emotional.
It was honestly something I thought would never happen.
Oh, really?
As actors, we sometimes have this imposter syndrome.
Sure.
I mean, everybody does it to a certain degree. You're just like, I'm still doing it. Like, are they sure?
Right.
Not been
Does this
found
really
out
happen?
yet?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
you're like, is this a mistake?
Yeah, all the time. Like every year on New Girl, I was like, are they sure? But for this, I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, really?
For Fargo, I thought it was a great show, and I thought I did really well. But I also thought I did really well on New Girl. I thought everybody on New Girl did really well.
Right.
We got no Emmy love whatsoever for the show.
Yeah.
And that show is still popular today.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a whole podcast about it. It's so popular. Yes.
We've been off the air for 8 years.
Yeah. People can't get enough of it.
And it still feels like a new people come up to me all the time, younger kids, people maybe their 20s or mid 20s. They're always like, is there a new season coming?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's been off the air for years.
What? Dude, you guys left on a cliffhanger. What's happening? When is the new season? I'm like,
I mean,
you guys are kind of crystallized in time though, because like it keeps coming back around. Obviously, everybody keeps watching it, but all of you also look like you never aged.
Yeah.
So you're just crystallized in time.
Except for Jake Johnson. Jake Johnson.
Everyone is just waiting for it to come back though.
Yeah, they are, but it's going to be hard with Jake. We're going to have to find...
They have some CGI now. AI will fix that. AI will fix that. What was your experience like? So going from New Girl, where you had a lot of flexibility for improv, and that's sort of how that entire thing started, and then going into Fargo, what was the difference of the experience and development for you as an actor?
Oof, it was tough. It was very tough because Noah Hawley is a brilliant writer and he likes his words.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he spent a lot of time writing it.
Sure.
And I can imagine it might be a little annoying if somebody shows up and they just like won't say the words. They're just riffing. You know what I mean? Because it's very intentional, very specific, not just to the storyline, but also to the location. In Fargo, this town, people are a certain way. Minnesota nice. He wants to make sure certain sayings and the energy behind them are very as accurate as it can be. If you're changing stuff, sometimes it doesn't necessarily equate to what he's trying to portray. So sticking to the script was fairly easy for me because I knew he had a plan. Like I knew a lot of times when you improvise, it's not that you don't trust the creatives. It's just that you're trying to make it fit your vernacular or the way you would say things or your energy as best as you can. In comedy, you do it for jokes. You say the script, but then you try to come up with something else funny. Fargo, you don't need to improvise. It's very well written, and it's written. It's almost like you write it. If you do it as is, there's no work to be done.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's written in such a way that helps form your character, helps form who you are.
Right.
Beautifully. And, I trusted Noah on it. He doesn't give much direction to your performance. Like I said, he's like, he loves what he does and he wrote it. So he knew that it was going to land. He said, dealer's choice. If you want to go broad, if you want to go understated, as long as we know you're kind and you say the words.
But what was interesting about that, I mean, is yes, as much as your character was kind, they tried you.
Yes.
They tried you.
Yeah.
They tried your character.
Right.
Racially, a lot of times too. And it was interesting how it was like they didn't quite find the softness I think that they were expecting.
Yeah. So Whit Farr, the character I played,
North Dakota's detective, Deputy Whit
Farr. A kind guy, for sure.
Absolutely.
Always repays a debt type of person. And when when he gets shot and this woman saves his life, he owes her a great
Right.
debt.
Right.
Nothing's going to stand in the way of that.
Right.
So you can be kind all you want, but I'm still an officer of the law.
Right.
And I owe this woman my life. So what I'm going to go and do is try to help her.
Right.
Because now, especially now that I see the corruption
Mm-hmm.
and I see who I'm dealing with, the good old boys, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I see how they maneuver. So it's like, oh, okay, the kindness act, or not even an act, but the kindness thing won't work.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to
Right.
work with them. You know what I mean? Like they're on a different
Mm-hmm.
planet. So we got to go and handle that, though. We got to go handle that.
Right.
So you did see some, some resistance a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you watch, there are a lot of times where they actually they tried Whitfar in such a way. Yet if you tried that with me, I'm not just walking away from it.
Mm-hmm.
When he kicks his crutch in the room, you kick my crutch, I'm gonna choke you with it.
Right.
I'm literally, as you turn around, I'm gonna come up behind you,
Right.
and choke you with
and
it.
he talked about his mama.
Yes, come on, my mom.
No, he was wild. He was wild with it. Yeah.
John Hamm's character, when I can clearly see he's physically laying hands on this woman.
Yeah.
She's literally looking at me like, "Help me!"
Right.
And he got the guys around him with the guns and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Here's the thing: we're in a hospital in a very public place. Even though I know he's got everybody in his pocket, I'm not letting you walk out of there with her.
Yeah.
I got a gun too. So if this was Lamorne in that last scene in Fargo,
Right.
Whitfar ain't dying. I'm Judge Dredd.
Right.
I am Judge Dredd. I am the law. I'm Judge Dredd. I am coming for vengeance on
For
everybody.
those of you born before, Judge Dredd was a movie in the 90s.
Yes,
So that's
Stallone. The goat.
Of all the characters you've played,
Mm.
which one is most like you?
Most like me, I would probably say Kevin from Game Night.
Mm.
Because Kevin from Game Night was just, he's got the right amount of silly. I'm not all Winston. I developed that character. It took me a while to do it, but that's all me. But it's so heightened.
Right.
So heightened. Like,
Winston walks in the room though, and everyone smiles.
yeah,
They're
that's
waiting
true.
for it.
That's true. He's so weird. He's so weird. Actually, Jake Johnson helped me develop that character too, because we would do these weird bits, like this power dynamic between two people that lose confidence after they say the first thing. So he'd walk in a room and he'd just be like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "You hanging out at the you still you party? You go to parties?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was at a party, and I love partying." it's like you start immediately high, and then the second line is like you lose for some reason all confidence, and that is a bit that we did so much, and it just helped me with Winston to go, what is the weirdest, say something that no one can explain.
Right.
And it doesn't
Right.
matter. Just figure it out. And that was an exercise we would do, and it just bled into the character.
Right.
Yeah.
But Kevin, I would say Kevin from Game Night, because
like
he's in a relationship. He's got kids. He's a very normal, middle of the road guy. But the moment he suspects his wife, made a joke about cheating on him with Denzel Washington, and he was just like the whole movie. He's just like, no matter what they're going through on this journey, he keeps looking at his wife like that's kind of how I am. That's kind of how I am.
Said a little bit too.
Yeah, I was like, did they?
It's a little too authentic the way you said it.
Because I live in LA. There have been times.
There's no
where
celebrity freebie in LA. If you live in LA, there's no celebrity freebie.
there are no hall passes here.
No.
Your hall pass better be with the mailman. Like, sweet. Go ahead.
Right.
But
I'm not threatened by the mailman.
Yeah, I'm not threatened by the mailman. I'm threatened by Idris Elba. You know what I mean? Don't know what
I made a film with Idris Elba. You should be threatened. Yes.
What'd you say?
I said I made a film with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Be threatened.
Yes.
That's a legit.
That's a
threat.
legit.
It's a legit threat.
It's a legit threat.
Yeah, I was at a bar years ago, before BET days, when I was like 21 or something like that. And I remember I was hanging out with this girl we just met. Great, we're holding hands, we're like canoodling, everything.
And he walked in?
No, Tyrese walked in.
Oh. Child.
Tyrese did the most disrespectful / coolest shit I've ever seen. Tyrese walked in and looked at me and said, "What's up, bro?" I said, "Hey, Tyrese, what's up?" He leans over, whispers in the girl's ear,
Yikes.
takes a few steps back, and just waited. And I'm looking at him, and he's just kind of looking. And I was looking at her, and she's looking at me like, "So it was really nice to meet you."
Oh my God.
She got up and left.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm serious. She got up and left.
No.
With Tyrese.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
I was like,
Oh my
What?
God.
what happened? Oh, that's
This
this was all but a done deal. I thought we were gonna be long-term lovers.
Oh my God.
And I'm still friends with this girl too. It's so funny. It's,
You're still
Did
friends
you
with
ever
her?
ask her
Yeah,
what he
I-
said?
She just laughed about it. I talked to Tyrese about it too.
What
What
did
did
he
he
say?
say?
He said, "Yeah, that sounds like something I would have done back then."
He don't even remember it because he's done it so many times.
He's probably stolen so many wives. If you're Tyrese, if you're old school Tyrese, you're taking all the wives.
He probably just sang in her ear or something. He probably didn't even say real words.
Wait, so you're still friends with her? So what did she say? What was the explanation?
She was young. To be fair, she was. I was 21,
She was
22.
just like, it was my
She was
one
like
shot.
21. But here's a crazy thing. Talk about completely 180 because she's
Oh my
much younger back
I
then.
mean,
but
it's
she's-
sort of
she
like
got kids. She's married. Like she's like, it's one of those things now where it was like, yeah, we did some stupid stuff back then.
I
And for
mean,
me, I'm like,
Christ.
I still feel it.
God.
I
Oh
still
my
hurt.
God. Yeah.
I mean, if John Hamm rolled up,
I
and
mean, period.
I mean,
Yeah. Period.
probably do the same thing.
Period.
At the end,
Yeah.
Period. Period.
Oh, God.
Call us, John.
Call us, John.
Yeah, John, hit him up.
My dress snag, John.
Oh,
Got
I can't
it.
find my
Wear a
underwear,
button
John.
dress. Wear a button
that's
dress,
the
but the
key.
button is slightly popped.
But
And
did you not have women sliding in your DMs after they saw you crying at the Emmys? No,
Yeah.
I'm about to say because
Yeah, but-
I
He's
feel
like,
like
of course.
I feel like that
Yeah, but-
activates women when they see men cry.
A little bit, but it didn't. I don't
Not
know.
as much as you thought it would.
Zoe Kravitz hasn't returned my calls yet, but
you're accepting DMs.
Yeah.
you
I'm
know,
accepting
they're
DMs.
keep the DMs open. You know,
DMs. But I think I'll settle down soon.
Mm-mm.
I think I will settle down.
Mhm.
I got
It's
it
coming.
figured out. I got it
coming.
figured out.
Got the formula now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just sit there. Don't say much to her. That won't piss her off.
Don't be around Tyrese.
Don't be
Nowhere.
around
Don't be anywhere
Tyrese.
Don't
Tyrese
be
can
around
find
John.
Just keep a level head.
you. Don't take her to the Emmys.
No. Whatever she says goes.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
always.
There used to be
that's
opposite. I used to debate all the time. If I dated somebody and I know, even if I knew I was wrong, I'd be like, I'm up for the debate.
No,
How do
no,
you
no.
think so, honey?
No.
It'd be like,
Don't waste
And
your
then
time.
you realize that's why I'm single now.
Don't waste
and
your
I go,
time.
Oh, women
Don't
don't,
waste your
like
time.
that. They don't like
No,
that at
no,
all.
no.
Oh, okay.
She's always right. Just pay for everything.
I know.
You know,
Oh,
you want companionship.
it sounds like two children then. My daughter's always right and I pay for everything.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with her too?
Yes.
Yes,
Basically.
always.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
my mom.
No, listen. Come on.
So my mom, my
Yeah.
daughter, and my
You're
my
getting
lover.
the hang of
Women.
it now.
Women.
Lamorne. Yeah.
Oh my
Women.
Yeah. Don't resist.
guys.
Resistance is futile.
All right, I'm back. Ladies.
Yeah, you see? At least we'll get you some pot roast.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me tell you. If a woman invited me over for dinner, she said, I made you dinner, and I get there, there's a pot roast there, I'm gonna check her birth certificate. I'll be like,
What?
whose grandma are you?
Am I dating?
We'll make you a nice pot roast, get some ham hocks. Grandma? You're back from the dead? Oh my God.
Okay.
Biohackers, you know?
It's
You
okay.
never know.
Yes.
That's all right.
Pot roast.
That's all
We
right.
just discovered our next biohack commercial.
That's all right.
I got it. And then you pull out the creatine.
Yes, just like, now go hit the gym.
I'll tell you one thing though, you'll never forget that girl.
Who made me a pot roast?
Yeah.
Immediately, yes. No, I would be like, I gotta go.
She won't leave you for Tyrese, though.
That's fair.
Period.
I'd be after the wrong women, I guess.
See? Talking all that shit.
Well, hold on. You just said that you'd make a pot roast. Then you just said, John Hamm, what's up?
Well, but that's not Tyrese, though.
I mean,
that's
Tyrese
that's different.
John Hamm, it's acceptable.
I mean,
That's a ham I'd like to cook.
listen.
That's a ham.
But John,
Every
bet
woman
you John
would like
Hamm
to
tear
cook.
this motherfucking pot roast up, though.
I don't even like ham, and I would cook that ham.
See, John Hamm know about this motherfucking pot roast though, okay? Shit.
Oh, no.
John Hamm be like, oh, I'm coming over, baby, for the pot roast. Okay?
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Okay?
Probably.
Listen.
Midwestern, he's from St. Louis.
Listen.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows. Call him.
Well, now we have new material for you when you have to do a supplement commercial.
Oh,
That'd
yes.
be great.
Please call me. If there are supplement companies out there.
So we know you've done commercials, you've done TV, you've done features. You had mentioned that you had done the choir when you were younger as a kid, but one thing Kisha and I were actually discussing prior to you coming on this podcast is theater.
Yes.
Well, you did early theater,
on.
but
I
I didn't know if
theater,
you
yeah.
had like more theater
Broadway?
aspirations. Yeah.
I would love to. I
Mhm.
would love to. The timing just has to work. I've been asked to do a couple of productions over the years, but
Mhm.
it's always in the middle of filming or
Mm.
press or something that I just feel like would overload my schedule in a way where I wouldn't be very happy.
Mhm.
And I try my best to choose happiness over anything.
Sure.
There's too much drama in this world, and I just go, where can I be the most happy?
Mhm.
Mm.
And if I go and do a Broadway production, that means I'll be in New York for a while.
Sure.
And if the timing works out where it's, fall, then I can't do it
School
because
and
my
daughter,
daughter's
yeah.
got school,
Mhm,
so I
mhm.
would have to take her out of school. I have to and now this is her time, so life is about her. So
Mm.
I try to work around her
Mhm.
as best as I can, and I've been lucky. The last few projects have been here.
Mhm.
Jumanji, like I said,
Mhm.
we're still filming that, but Spider Noir,
Right.
which we just dropped some stuff.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's live action with Nicolas Cage, it's a great show, but it's shot here in LA.
Oh, great.
Oh.
So I got really lucky. I was able to, drop my daughter off at school, go to work,
Oh, wonderful.
and he picks her up from school.
Oh,
We
amazing.
come home, we kick it, take her to school the next morning.
Great.
It was like, oh, this works.
Mhm.
But when it's like, hey, you have to go out of town for 4 months,
Mhm.
I gotta come back home and visit,
Mhm.
as much as I can.
Mhm.
That puts some wear and tear on you. You're not very happy
Mm.
being away from your kid
Right.
Mm.
as much. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
if there's a summer rehearsal in production, I'm all about it.
What was your on ramp to like podcasting? Like what drove your interest to do not
Uh,
just one but two? Like
well, I'd been trying to develop stuff for a while. Not it wasn't even a curiosity of mine.
Mhm.
It was just people asking.
Mhm.
I tried some stuff with former NBA player Baron Davis before.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Janae Abumake, WNBA player Nick Young, NBA. We tried a lot of sports stuff.
Mhm.
With LeBron's company Uninterrupted, we had done some like iterations and just to see if it stuck. Nothing worked. So I was but I love the dynamic. I love
Mhm.
just sitting down with like pros at what they
Mhm.
do and just like
Mhm.
I'm a fan of basketball. They were basketball players, so for me, I was just geeked and excited.
Mhm.
Um, and so I always had that bone and that bone in my body for the banter.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I had been asked to do a bunch of people's podcasts that I would go on and I would have the time of my life. It's like this. It's just
Mhm.
like very casual, very free. If you say something crazy, they can erase it. If it's like no pressure. It is no pressure, and it's the purest form of like getting to know a person because you got time, like doing like late shows are great.
Yeah.
Like I love doing late show. Like Kimmel's my favorite, and I've done his show. I've hosted his show for him like 5 times, I want to say. But that's so quick. You get on, you got a few minutes to like tell your stories,
Goes so
promote your
fast,
show,
right.
and then you don't have time to really like settle in, And so I liked it a lot. And so a buddy of mine, Kyle, who I do the podcast with, with these two brothers that are like our writing partners and close friends, Joey and Robbie Wonder, they were like, "Hey, we got some mic equipment and stuff. Like we should, you and Kyle should do something." And so literally at my house, we just set up cameras and some mic equipment and just tried it and just played around with a bunch of stuff. And then over time it became a thing. Now, the New Girl podcast came about in the era of the Office ladies. They had a very successful show where Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher would talk about The Office. And they're really close with Hannah Simone, who I do the mess around with.
Right.
And they were like, "You should do this for New Girl." Hannah called me. Zoe called me at the same time, asking me to do ones. Hannah was asking me to do. And so we decided to combine them. And we combined the podcast, and it was great, And now Hannah and I just do it, and I have the one with Kyle, and it's great. It's the fans love New Girl so much.
The fandom for your show is so strong. Yeah.
If the show, like I wouldn't do it for any other show that I've been on, because New Girl is carrying a lot of residual viewership. It's like, so people still talk about it as if it's a new thing, and I love it, And so
you would think it's still on
it's
the air,
so
like
relatable for every generation.
Yeah.
It's relatable.
I had Diana Ross tell me that she loves New Girl. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like because she was like, "It's so great for me to be able to watch because I understand the show." She was like, "It's younger generation than me, but it's so like," she was like, "Some of the jokes are just like so good and so funny." She was like, "I love watching your show."
Yeah.
I was like, jaw hit the floor. You know what I mean? Prince came and did our show because he loved the show.
Yeah.
You know,
but he only does stuff.
Yeah. Like Prince was.
He only does what he wanted to do. You know what I mean?
I'm like, Taylor Swift did our show.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that you're just like, you kidding me.
You have like iconic comedy.
Rob Reiner, Jamie Lee Curtis, you name it. Justin Long. Like we've had some like, I mean, it's to this day, it's still one of those things where you go, man, I did that.
Yeah.
Like I did the ride. Everything else after is very much so a bonus.
Yeah.
Because some people don't get a chance. Some people don't book a job in their careers.
No. And sitcom, I mean, linear television, period.
Yes.
And the sitcom as a appointment television, everyone's gathering around to watch Thursday at 9. Like we're going to be telling our grandchildren, we used to gather around the television.
It's different than like Golden Girls or Laverne and Shirley. Like people talk about that still till this day.
Exactly. It's not going to be like this for much longer. So, I mean, you're kind of...
Well, now the new generation won't even know that dynamic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to be a thing for much
I saw something the
longer.
other day where they were like, somebody sent this to me. I think it was Melvin Marr. Melvin Marr, it was a producer on Jumanji. He was on New Girl as well. And he said the video to me. And the video was basically someone describing this new format of like Instagram making. It's where a person would come in with a problem and another person would have to figure out that problem and try to solve that problem. And they'd come to a conclusion. It's this new style of thing. And he was like, so you mean a sitcom? So basically what you're describing is a fucking TV show.
Exactly.
That you think, congratulations.
It's like it's a vertical now. It's like, no, it's a sitcom.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like...
That dynamic doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because everybody now, I mean, just talks through the phone. So
that's
it's
true.
sort of that human interaction. It's almost like it'll be like it'll be used to teach Gen Alpha and Beta and all the upcoming generations of like, this is what friends used to do before technology. Before technology took over, you know?
Yeah. No, that's fair. That is definitely fair. Because you think about it, on our show, we had so much hijinks and there was so much to write because you did have to go and you did have to make an activity out of doing things. Nowadays, we can do everything from our phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like if Jess had a problem with a teacher, she had to go to the school and do
Right.
a thing, call them on the phone. You can't get them on. Okay, I have to go. Now it's like, oh, just
An
send
email.
a note. I send you a, you know,
Right.
it's kind of, it did take the human element out of
Mhm.
interaction for sure. And I do think TV, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we're not screwed. I'll
I mean,
just say,
listen, I pray.
yeah.
I mean,
I think it's going
I'm-
to turn back around. It's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
come
Yeah.
back
listen, I'm
around.
grateful for like Abbott Elementary, like when you see,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like
Mhm.
these shows now getting full episodes and 24, like I'm
Mhm.
always excited to see,
Mhm.
you know, shows like kind of in the old school model,
Yeah.
you know, that come out weekly. Like
Mhm.
I'm still excited when we get these shows and they do well because I still think they have value.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, it just the proliferation isn't there and that whole thing. But
Yeah.
I'm curious what sitcoms did you grow up with that you like? What were your kind of sitcom?
What was
like,
your inspiration?
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a few. I love TV. Martin, Fresh Prince, obviously Cosby Show. Living Single was something that we watched
Oh my
like
God.
religiously, and then All in the Family was something that my grandma used to watch, so
Mhm.
therefore I used to watch it. I loved All in the Family.
Mhm.
Like the
Mhm.
older generation just says the wildest shit,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I just thought like, of course that old man's gonna say something dumb.
Yeah.
Of course he
yeah,
is.
completely out of control.
And let's give this person a camera and a microphone to say it in. Let's let this person go off,
Mhm.
and then we'll correct it later. But
Mhm.
I just used to love that kind of TV. And then a little bit later than those shows, like the Jamie Foxx show, 30 Rock. I was obsessed with 30 Rock. 30 Rock was the first show I want to say that I bought all the DVDs for.
Oh wow.
Like this is back when you
Like
had to
did the
buy
commentary
DVDs.
and the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 Rock was it for me because that was so stupid. It just there was no rhyme or reason.
Mhm.
You know, Tracy Morgan to me is all time. He's like my top 5 probably. It was just TV actors. He's
Mhm.
so good. And Tina Fey,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better writer than her.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
That's great.
you know, that
Yeah.
combination is like it's so crazy. So 30 Rock was definitely up there for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you are reinventing yourself for each role, is there a particular approach you have or a mindset you go into it? How do you embody your character?
Well, initially when I read it, I go instinctually. I go, what's the first? So it takes me a really long time to read the script for the first time because I'm stopping every moment
Mhm.
and rehearsing it. Like I first read it as the lines come up. I'm initially just going, how do I feel about it? How would I say that line?
Mhm.
And I'm basing everything off my initial reaction to
Mhm.
it. Now, obviously, when you finish reading the script, your characters, you form a completely different opinion of it now that you know how the story plays out.
Mhm.
And then you go back and you rework it again. So then I read it again with new information in mind, and I'll see how I'll, play the character, or I'll see what sticks out to me. And then I just do my traditional breakdown. I'll just look at what the rest of the characters say about you. You know what I mean? How you feel in the scenes. What's your relationship with all the other characters? And in every script, it's usually pretty different. And then from there, I just try to, for me, like physically, I'll try to base something off of someone that I know.
Mm.
Like if I know somebody who's very similar to what I'm reading, I'll take a little something from that person. And it might not be an obvious thing, but it's something. And every character I've played, there is some personal token that I've taken from someone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Whether it be my brother or it could be my barber. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like anything. It's like, yeah.
Or you were in barbershop at one point, right?
Yeah. I was in barbershop. But even that wasn't from my barber.
No.
That was not from my barber. My barber now is really funny.
Barber's like, oh, my commission, goddammit.
I'm always something. I take something from somebody. I got lucky, like for the movie Saturday Night that I did.
Well, you played Garrett Morris.
I played Garrett Morris. That one was I don't want to say it was easy, but it was easy just because
you had an actual template to play off of?
He's alive. I could see all his movies, his shows. Like I said, I grew up watching Jamie Foxx show and Martin. He was on both those shows.
Yeah.
And so I pulled from him in that I would already do impressions of him because the way he spoke, and he's very animated, man. He's very that, you know. And I was like, oh, I got this. I auditioned for it. I sent the audition, and I think I booked it the next day. I was like, oh, this is gold. This is good to go. But in my next approach, doing Spider Noir, I took a lot of Garrett as well for my character, and I wanted to just kind of have a little bit of because if Garrett's born in 38, that era is still a little similar to the 40s. And even going further back to the 20s. So with Spider Noir takes place late 20s, early 30s ish. Garrett has this old texture to him still that you could see, and then you go back and watch his younger stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I could connect the dots on this. So I'm gonna take a little bit of what I learned in Saturday Night and bring it to Garrett. Just small little moments, some of the cool elements of Garrett that I added to Spider Noir. So I it depends. It's a case by case basis. It starts with instinct, and then the rest is just kind of academic. You just go through and check your boxes and just start playing and start performing. But then all that goes out the window once you're put up against a scene partner that does something different. You're like, I thought I was going to do all this, but
right now you gotta change.
I got to balance. I gotta have the happy balance here. So we gotta whatever makes the best scene. You know. Did
your access to certain parts get? Because I've heard different things, especially for Black actors, like post Emmy, like post award, where sometimes it gets like almost harder in a way because then they just start giving you like the same iteration of a thing, or did it give you more access to dramatic roles, and was that something you were seeking at the time? Or
well, it depends. Like some actors don't see success at all after they win, for whatever reason. Like it's like a thing. It's like some people do. Some people don't see success because they're being too picky with what they pick with roles, because they figure, I just won this prestigious award.
Right.
I should only be doing this, and this.
Right.
Forgetting what got them the award. You know what I mean? So it depends. But for me, I like to tell people it's the same. Nothing has changed since I haven't been given abundance of dramatic roles or anything like that. But I mean, they do come in for sure, and probably because of Fargo. But like, nothing too crazy. There's a role, there's a movie that I'm going to do where the character is a little darker, but you don't expect it because he's really nice. You know what I mean? And so things like that happen. You know, I get scripts like that. You know what I mean? Because of the kind element, but it is a drama, and it is something nefarious going on. You know what I mean? So you do. You know, the element of surprise in some of these movies, I think I'm seeing a lot more of, which is really cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
If you could play any role, any character, what would it be?
I just want to play like a really cool, not what you expected father. And like that movie Bob Odenkirk starred in called Nobody. That's my wheelhouse. He's a dad, husband, really nice guy. Everybody loves him, and then he just goes off and starts murdering people because they try to like come after him. And you find out this man had a very violent
dark past.
You're
Right?
Like, what? You're head of the PTA. All of a sudden, you just chopped this man's testicles off. You know. So that's the kind of the role that I would love to do, and maybe in like one of those like cool like Eddie Murphy type Disney movies that like he's the dad who's got to go on a road trip with the kid, and all of a sudden something happens and he's got to go and like, you know, still like hilariously drop a bunch of fools while my daughter is in the back being just,
hijinks and
well, she's just drawing on the
right. Baby, I'm gonna be right back.
Right back. She don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like that's it, you know. So somebody call Disney, let them know.
Let them know.
Family-friendly film, fun for the whole family.
There'll be a
I
pot
just
roast
happen to be-
scene. There'll be a pot roast scene in
Pot roast for
there.
everyone.
Yeah, but that's the kind of role I would want to do. I very much so want to do something that my daughter can go and like watch with all her friends and
Mhm.
get it, you know, get everybody together and just check it out and not feel like,
Mhm.
did I say it? Can't
Right,
have her
right.
see that I say something crazy? Is too much blood? Is there,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
I try to let her watch certain things now,
Mhm.
and I'll forget, like, because to me it's childish. Like The Flash, I love The Flash. She loves The Flash, but every once in a while I forget. It's still
Right.
violent, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
sure. Right.
Yeah.
Because to
Does
me,
it change how you look at your parts now having a
Yeah.
young daughter?
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. I still gun it from time to time, and I'll ask for forgiveness later. But then
Yeah.
when I talk to my team, it's very much so, you
looking
know.
for things for them.
Yeah, I had a meeting with I was with Dana Walden and Bob Iger once.
Oh yeah.
And I was just talking about, like, this is right after the Emmy, just talking about some things, and it was all family driven. It was all like family adventure.
Mhm.
And you're attracted to the things that you see the people around you vibing with, and I'm around kids a lot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
real.
they vibe with like certain things, and it just and I when I remember growing up, what made me the happiest is when I was going to go watch Eddie Murphy do, Nutty
Absolutely.
Professor. You know,
Yeah.
No, I mean,
yeah.
he was like, I had these kids, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden he was like, where's that Shrek movie? I mean, he
Yeah.
was, Nutty Professor and Shrek.
It
and
really changes you. It
Absolutely.
really changes your approach. And Brendan Fraser, like him, those types of, like, Nick Cage and National Treasure, and
Mhm.
the Mummy, like
the
those,
Mummy, yeah,
I,
absolutely.
like I want to immerse myself in that kind of stuff
Mhm.
Yeah.
for a good amount of time.
That makes sense.
For a
We
good
got
amount of time.
Jumanji.
Listen, that's
On
where
that
it
way.
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got Jumanji. It's I think my kid will.
She's gonna think you're cool.
Yeah, hopefully. She thinks I'm cool now. The other day,
Are you sure about
Enjoy
that?
it while it lasts. According to Kisha, once they hit 12, you're
Oh,
embarrassing.
listen, yeah. She'll abandon you soon enough. Don't
she
worry.
called me cool dad the other day.
Okay,
Oh.
good.
She just
No,
out of nowhere,
enjoy.
she was like, she said, she was talking about her. Oh, this is what she said. She was saying her grace before she eats. She's so funny. She'll say, so, hi, God. God bless my mommy, my grandma, my cool dad.
Aww.
I was like, what?
Yes.
I was like,
So cute.
where'd you get that from?
That is very cute.
She's such a ham and, like, so manipulative. I see right through. I see what she's doing,
Mhm.
and I can't do anything about it.
No.
Yeah.
It's like I know it's happening,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, what am I supposed to do about it?
Nothing.
just,
Enjoy
Nothing.
just embrace it.
Yeah, no.
Just
She's gonna
embrace
walk by that store and be like, "Yeah, so cool
Yeah.
dad.
Hey, cool
I'm
dad.
gonna need that thing right there."
it. You know what she does now? Because she knows the password to my phone. She'll just come bring me the phone, and it's already
Legend.
on Amazon. And she'll go, and she'll have already typed in.
Mhm.
Cause she's 5, so she's learning how to read and spell and all that stuff. So certain things she definitely knows how to write.
Mhm.
Elsa is one of them,
Oh.
and dress.
Period.
So she'll have it in already. She'll give it to me, and it'll say Elsa dress in the search bar.
Legend.
And then she'll go, "Hey, let me show you something." It'll say Elsa dress, and I'm like, how many Elsa dresses can one
Listen,
girl have?
you're about to find out.
Endless.
She's got a lot. My buddy Jaleel, when I was first having my daughter, he gave me advice.
You said Jaleel.
Jaleel
Jaleel
White,
White.
Jaleel
Oh,
White.
yeah. Y'all both like were Martin Luther King in Drunk History.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to play Martin like this. I'm going to play Martin like this.
Hey, Jaleel gave me the best advice.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, anything you do,
Mm.
do it with your daughter. If somebody invites you to their private jet, take your daughter. Somebody's like, hey, we're doing this thing on the yacht, take your daughter.
Oh, interesting.
He's like, if you go to nice dinners or whatever, make sure your daughter experiences some of that.
Normalizing.
Just because when she gets older, one of these knucklehead dudes is gonna be like,
Right.
"Here, girl, I'm gonna take you on."
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
girl.
My
She's
daddy
like,
done did that
whatever.
already.
Yeah.
What else
Like
you
my
got?
daddy been doing
He's
that.
like,
Period.
up it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, that's actually not bad. That's
Period.
actually not bad.
Like, I was
advice.
doing this when I was 5.
Yeah,
like, whatever.
I've been on that.
Yeah.
What is your definition of success today, and has it changed over time?
My definition of success is career freedom, meaning I can work when I want, and I'm not desperate to work because of some lack of something.
Mm.
You know, whether it be finances or emotionally, you feel like you just need to be working to escape something at home or whatever. I want to be able to say, hey, I'm taking a year off.
Mm.
And I can, and I'm not worried about it. And financially, I'm in a position where that is perfectly fine. I want to be able to retire if I want and say, you know, I'm in a position where I don't ever have to work again, where you have a healthy relationship, even with the tough schedule and the being gone all the time, even with that, in the uneven schedule with your kid, even with that, she still like loves you and rocks with you, and it's like, and her idea of a childhood doesn't feel too fast paced or too mature because she's hanging out with adults a lot on set. If my daughter has a pretty well balanced like mental outlook on things and emotionally, that's success. Which because it lets me know that I somehow had the balance right.
Right.
The work, you know, family balance.
Oh yeah.
Which is really tricky. My old version of success literally was just to be rich. I was like, oh, success just means I'm rich and I'm a big movie star and like, you know.
Right.
But you know, once you start making money, it's important to you, but it becomes less important.
Sure. There's a point where it's like, oh, right.
Yeah, because you see that your problems don't change. You know what I mean? Like you more money, more problems. That's one of the truest statements ever told. Because you have all the things that you want, and somehow you're still stressed. You're like, oh, it goes deeper than money. So how about my level of success is freedom, which means I don't have to get stressed out about these types of things. I want to get stressed out about the normal stuff, like who is this boy taking my daughter to prom? I am curious. I'm not curious.
Well, thank you, Lamorne, for coming to the Exit interview. We really appreciate you coming today and sharing your story and talking about your process and your journey. And we just really appreciate you coming and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Exit interview. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment below, and we'll continue to curate guests like this for you to enjoy. Thank you.